Hi, it's me, the Vertical Spy. The long road to Mad Max Fury Road. Now, of course, I could do a review for Mad Max Fury Road, but technically some people have already done that, given their thoughts. But here's what I can say about Mad Max Fury Road, since you guys know I love the Mad Max movies. I'm a big fan of these films. So what can I say? 5 out of 5 stars. But for today, instead of me reviewing Fury Road, how about I talk about the long road that Fury Road took to get to theaters? Now, like I said, you guys know I love the Mad Max movies. You know, Mad Max 1, favorite low budget movie. Mad Max 2, favorite somewhat big budget movie. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You know, I don't hate this movie anymore. I actually am more appreciated towards it. Is it the worst out of the Mad Max franchise? Yeah. But it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. So, I'm going to talk to you guys about the history of what took the longest time to make one of the greatest action movies of all time. Why it took this long, why it took this long to make a $150 million budget movie. A $150 million budget movie. But anyways, best thing to start with, first production. Now yes, if you also remembered, when they announced back in 2001 that they were going to release, so they were going to start working on Mad Max 4, at first I didn't care about that at first. But I remember going to an after-school program where guys were talking about Mad Max 4 and it's coming to theaters. And at first I thought, what's Mad Max? So at first I didn't know what Mad Max even was or even is. But part of me did forget I did watch the original trilogy, you know, as a small child. I have no memory of it. But now realizing I did remember watching that as a child. But anyways, when they announced that they were going to bring back Mel Gibson, George Miller, the original director for the first 3 Mad Max movies, was going to come back and direct a much more greater film. Completely, everybody was excited. But the unfortunate thing, I'm not going to show pictures, but the unfortunate thing came to it. We know what happened in 2001. September 11th. All I can say is, give you something sorry. But anyways, you know, 9/11 happened. That's when the American dollars, okay, basically they wanted to cash in with American dollars, and clearly, even though there was a time when every musician or every type of film that was going to film outside of the country or somewhere where they wanted to film, that's when, you know, a lot of money was gone. They needed enough money to make their movie to work, so they had to push the project. And it was announced in 2002 that Gibson was going to come back as Max, but you know, the project kept getting pushed. You know, then came the war in Iraq. The war in Iraq was a big deal because clearly, where Miller wanted to film at, it was at Namibia, okay, country in Africa, some type of country in Africa, where he wanted to film at, which was the perfect spot for him to film at. But unfortunately, the war in Iraq clearly was to the point of the fact that they can't film in that area. So sadly, they had to push it. They had to keep pushing it. He had to keep pushing production in order to, get that money back for them to make, and they needed that American money. So basically, they needed American money and Australian money, and so they can mix the budget for this movie and for a hefty, big project. So pretty much, it was going to be produced by 20th Century Fox. There may have been a little bit of a rumor. It may not be true or not, or may be false, but this is what they were saying. They said that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be in the movie. They said that one-time hit Bond actor George Lazenby was going to be in the movie. Probably, maybe as a side villain or some type of character or something like that. I don't know. That's what I heard. That's basically what I heard. I'm not sure it's 100% with other people, but then came 2006. And that's when 20th Century Fox pulled the plug out of the film, and clearly the film had to get postponed. It had to be canceled due to the fact that, not really a good time for Gibson during that year. That's when the year Gibson was pulled over for a DUI, and we all know the famous thing that Gibson is mostly known for today. But basically what happened with Gibson was a big deal and clearly kind of ruined his reputation. So it was announced in 2007 that they were going to make a Mad Max movie without Mel Gibson. It was either announced 2007 or 2009 that they were going to make the Mad Max movie, Mad Max 4, without Mel Gibson in some ways. So to me, I was like, how are you going to make a Mad Max movie without Mel Gibson? Why? Why would you make a movie without Mel Gibson? So clearly, most people thought this could have been like what it was like with the Jim Carrey-less sequels. Oh, you don't want to know what I have to say about the Jim Carrey-less sequels. So there was a lot of talks from most Mad Max fans. So most people were saying, who could replace Mel Gibson? Could it be... Well, there was a little small joke that Paul Walker and Mike Vogel. And I thought Paul Walker, that's not too bad. I would have been cool with it. But either way, it was also during 2008, there was this little weird rumor that they said that that famous soccer player Roy Key was gonna play Mad Max. Huh? Anyways, but then there was Heath Ledger. Yes, the great Heath Ledger. He was in talk about probably playing Mad Max. He was definitely, I think after he was done filming The Dark Knight, when he was done filming with The Dark Knight, he was pretty much like, you know what, Miller, I'll be happy to play your Mad Max. Even though Ledger and Gibson, I have heard that they were really super close in real life. So Heath Ledger playing Mad Max, actually, no, I think that would have been perfectly good casting. So clearly, after Ledger's untimely death, that part was dead. So yes, those of you are probably saying, oh man, Heath Ledger would have been a perfect Mad Max. Actually, I thought so too. I thought he would have been the perfect Mad Max. Seeing how the point of the fact that he's actually Australian. So, sorry, Heath. But as much as I'd like to go on with, so pretty much it was announced. Well, actually, no, there were a few smaller announcements, but it was pretty much people who were being considered playing the main two characters. there was Jeremy Renner and Uma Thurman, who were considering being the parts of Mad Max and Furiosa, and I thought Renner, that actually would have been actually would be good if he was, let's just say, European or maybe a Australian European or whatever. But either way, I mean, Renner doesn't seem like a bad choice. He is a good actor. I think he would, and now seeing how he was in a couple of other movies, he would have been I think he would have been at least decent as Mad Max. But here's I can tell you this. It was announced during 2009 that Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron were going to be playing Mad Max and Furiosa. And I'm like, well, I know who Charlize Theron is, but who's Tom Hardy? So at first I had no idea who Tom Hardy even was, but not less that I knew there was Star Trek Nemesis. And I'm like, oh, the bad side of Ducard. He's going to be playing Mad Max? And I was like, okay. So, I didn't know, I wasn't as familiar with Tom Hardy, as maybe, actually I don't think anybody was familiar with Tom Hardy during the time. So, when it was announced, I started following Tom Hardy's films. There was Inception, there was Warrior, and there was just a couple of movies, and also, of course, The Dark Knight Rises. Of course. So, after following Hardy for quite some time, he proved to me as a decently good actor. So, either way, in came 2011, where they were going to start filming somewhere in Australia, maybe where they filmed the last Mad Max movie, which was Road Warrior. But unfortunately, in came a flood to go film in Namibia. And since this was during 2011, the war of Iraq was about done, but then came the greatest thing that happened for our country. They caught Osama bin Laden. So clearly, that was all set. They went to go film in Namibia. Hey, I actually said it right for once. So they went to film there, and pretty much they wound up coming out making their Mad Max movie. So, principal photography started in the summer of 2012, June 2012. And clearly, then they came their reshoots in 2013. Then, once they were done with the reshoots, in came Mad Max Fury Road, showing this. I've had this since 2015. And clearly, it's still intact. So how long did it take them to film get Mad Max Fury Road made? It took 15 years. 15 years it took them to make this movie. My God. 15 years? That's insane. But either way, so we saw the first trailer for Mad Max Fury Road, and clearly we saw a few pictures of the characters and Max and Furiosa. But, I think in some ways, they could have brought back Mel Gibson. Maybe as a cameo role, or maybe as something. Or make things a little bit more easy. Have Gibson in the movie in general. Honestly, I don't think Gibson really cares. Gibson's like, yeah, I'm kind of too old for that. Maybe not maybe I could do it, or maybe I could not do it. But honestly, I don't think Miller would actually need me for this Mad Max movie. Which part of me is like, well, people would have liked an old Max. You know, what he's been doing in the Wasteland since his last adventure, what he would do when he would get back at playing Mad Max again. You know, I would have been cool with that. But I guess in some ways they want this to take place after Beyond Thunderdome. So there could be some things that could have worked. But, you know, just telling you that the long road for Fury Road was a big one. A very big one. So I got nothing else to say. So it takes a long time for a film like this. Well, if you think about it, James Cameron took 10 years to make Avatar. And don't worry, I'm making a this is under overrated of Avatar pretty soon. But either way, Mad Max Fury Road took the longest time to make its movie. Were there a lot of bumps? Were there a lot of people going back and forth against each other? Yes. But this is what it means to be a filmmaker. When you take enough time to film something, you have to make sure it's perfect or perfectly how you expect it to be. And after looking at the behind the scenes of Fury Road, this is a Mad Max movie that we've been waiting for, and a Mad Max movie we definitely need. So, either way, Mad Max Fury Road, one of my favorite movies of all time. So like I said, a 5 out of 5. Vertical Spy, outro.